Hi, my name is Gary Dillon, and this is my Module 4 City project, Climate Action Preparedness for Christchurch, New Zealand. Christchurch is a low-lying city along the coast in New Zealand. It's only about 20 meters or 66 feet above sea level. Research indicates that in a worst-case scenario, 440,000 New Zealanders will be at risk of one-year flooding by the year 2100. New Zealand is in a collision zone between the Indo-Australian and Pacific tectonic plates. That makes it susceptible to earthquakes. The 2011 earthquake in Christchurch was a particularly devastating one. It caused a lot of effects on the environment, including rivers. It resulted in rivers in and around New Zealand becoming shallower and narrower, which sort of reduces their storage and siphoning capability. There's a large river that's to the north of Christchurch called the Waimakariri River. It has a high risk of flooding. There's a 4% chance of water breakout and serious flooding. If it does ever seriously flood, it would cost over $800 million to repair the damages, according to a study conducted by City Council. And also up to 300,000 people would be severely affected by said flooding. City Council started a project on the river in 2010, and it was completed in 2019. They built about a 15-mile long embankment system along the sides of the river to prevent it from flooding in the future. It's a pretty high-level anti-flooding system. It can move 5,500 cubic meters per second of floodwater, which is good to mitigate flooding now, but in the future with climate change worsening, we don't know if it will be able to keep up with what's in store for us. Christchurch's City Council is doing their best to expedite climate change preparedness. They believe that more than $3 billion worth of public assets are in danger of being affected by flooding in the next 25 years. They also project that a third of Christchurch's potable water, which is their drinking water, as well as their stormwater pipelines, are in areas that will be affected by coastal flooding, and also rising groundwater and erosion. Also, 1/6 of their wastewater pipelines are also in areas that could be affected by flooding, rising groundwater, and erosion, as well as a quarter of the roads. City Council believes that repairing damage from that level of flooding would cost more than $3.2 billion. And that number also doesn't even take into account damage caused to public buildings as well as private property. So it would easily be 2 or 3 times that. The head of planning and consents for Christchurch City Council, John Higgins, stated that roughly 1/6 of the residential housing in the district is at risk to exposure to coastal flooding if sea levels rise 20 centimeters, which is about 8 inches. City Council is going over options to deal with climate change, and those include adapting buildings, homes, and infrastructure to weather flooding, not moving into areas where flooding hazards are high. Obviously, you can't do that. That doesn't help people that are already living in low-lying areas in Christchurch. That would just obviously be something to affect new development and new housing to sort of disincentivize people from building developments, maybe raising their homeowners insurance or something like that. let them know that, hey, this isn't the best idea building here, and that if you do plan on moving here, it's going to be way more expensive because of the associated risks involved. Also, they are building seawalls or stop banks to stop flooding of low-lying areas, and also retreating from coastal areas that aren't large population centers where people can move from. Obviously, this wouldn't help Christchurch so much because there's already such a large population center in low-lying areas that it's not really feasible for so many people to move. I mean, where are all these people going to move to? And yeah, building embankments to increase catchment areas. Um, Obviously, it's not easy to fund these things, these programs that Christchurch's City Council wants to. You'd be faced with either increasing taxes on current residents, which is never popular or an easy sell, or putting future generations at risk of climate-related disasters because prior generations didn't make the investments that were necessary. So in that regard, it's very much a wicked problem because it's either do you affect the current generation of people living there or people down the line. And yeah, that was all. Thank you.